Oh, the magic words. Okay.
There we are.
Welcome, everyone. Today is Monday, March 23rd. This is a special meeting of the San Rafael Sanitation District as we are meeting on Monday versus our usual Friday to accommodate people's schedule. Thank you all for being here. So if there's any members of the public that would like to speak on agenda items, we will call on you during those times, but we'll start with the roll call, please.
Director Rodoni?
Here.
Director Bushy?
Here.
Chair Kate?
Here, all three of us are here. Is there a report out? I see that Carrie is on the screen. Thank you for joining us virtually. You want to report out from the closed session that we had on February 20th?
Yes, Chair, there is no reportable action. I just want to note that there is really bad background noise for some reason from your room.
Okay, yeah, you stunned us with that because it sounds good here.
It seems to stop when the room is not speaking, but when anyone in the room starts speaking, then there's a terrible background noise.
Oh, like the microphone is too strong.
Or it's getting feedback.
Sensitive.
It's hard to tell what it is. It's like this tapping noise, rapidly tapping noise.
That sounds irritating. Sorry about that. Let's see, can we get someone from Xantrion in here? I don't know. Sorry, you all. And tech stuff is so important and infuriating at the same time. Yes. So those online, you'll have to deal with the tapping. Catherine's going to see if we can get some Xantrion, or literally just saw him in the elevator, so I know he's here. Okay, so sorry about that, but we are going to keep going. So there was no reportable action. We do have open time for any item not on the agenda. And I don't see any hands raised online, and there's no one in the room, so we'll move to the consent agenda, which consists of 4 items. Any comments or questions on that item?
No.
Okay, I don't have any either. So with that, I would entertain a motion on this item.
I move that we adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. That motion carries 3-0. So under our other agenda items, the first item is bid opening for the beach fiberglass pump station improvement project. Bill Buckley is here to present.
Yes, I have a report on the bid opening for the beach fiberglass pump station improvement project. And a recommendation to award the contract to GSW Construction in the amount of $1,124,679. The pump station, beach fiberglass pump station, was constructed in 1972. It's really reached the end of its serviceable life, and the project consists of installing a new wet well with submersible pumps. The existing pump station uses a dry chamber, which has some issues with that, and so we're proposing a wet well with submersible pumps. The project will also upgrade the pump system control panels and the electronics, bring them up to the latest and the current stuff, and the electronics will be 2 feet above the 100-year base flood elevation. So that's an important upgrade, protecting the facilities as well. Staff is working to secure an easement with one of the neighbors where the existing pump station footprint encroaches on a neighboring property, so we're clearing that up. In 2021, the district awarded a professional services agreement with Newt Engineering for both the 3rd Street and this fiberglass pump station, and 3rd Street was a priority for the safety concerns of the wet well was in the parking lane of 3rd Street, and so we prioritized 3rd Street, and it's just finished actually just this last month. It's moved into the school property and an easement on the school property, and we got it out of the street parking lane, so that was a big success. Fiberglass is in, it's located on Beach Drive, and it's in the BCDC jurisdiction within 100 feet of the shoreline band. So we're working on the permit. We've submitted the permit application for that. We expect to get the permit in June. And we're asking to award the contract today in anticipation that there's long lead items for the electrical controllers for the pumps and the cabinetry. So there's sometimes 6 months is what we experienced on 3rd Street. So we're looking to award a contract and get the equipment ordered so that it can move forward, and then we'll be getting the BCDC permit expected in the summer. So with that, in February, we published an advertisement on 2 dates for the project. We received, let's see, what was the engineer's estimate?
1.27.
1.27, yeah. And GSW Construction was the low bidder, just below the engineer's estimate. We received 6 bids. We went through the bids and we called the references. They've done other complicated pump station projects and treatment plant work for a number of different public agencies and that we've spoken with. And the references sound good, even though we haven't worked with GSW previously. So with that, staff recommends the board award the contract to GSW Construction.
Thank you. Questions on this item?
No.
I just have a question around the BCDC timing.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes they have a lot of work and not a lot of people doing the work.
Yeah.
So are you confident that with this lead time, or do you need our help checking in with BCDC, or?
We've been going through BCDC with the Bayside Acres, and we've gotten a new project manager every phase of Bayside Acres. It's been total staff turnover and it's been new people, but they're still really complying with their 90-day response times.
Okay.
And they've been getting back to us, and it's the last day of 90 days is when you do hear back, and then so yeah, it takes a while, but we submitted the application last month, and we really don't expect a lot from them in terms of comments, but we'll see when we get the permit.
Okay, and it'll reconfirm that we can have the easement on their property just going forward. It's reconfirming that in addition to the permit, because it sounds like we're in there.
Yeah, you're talking about the piece. Oh, sorry, I was confused. Can you ask that again? I was thinking of the neighbor, the TCE with the neighbor.
I thought you said this was also within the BCDC jurisdiction because it's within 100 feet.
Yeah, and we'll remain there within their jurisdiction.
And they're just reconfirming that's okay. As part of the permit, they're approving it as well as, yes, this is the right.
If we were outside of it, we wouldn't apply.
Okay,
but,
so it's inherent in it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you built that into the timeline.
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. Not seeing any other questions. Is there any, Catherine, I'm sorry, is there any public comment? If there's any hands raised on this item? No. Okay. Not seeing any hands raised, I would entertain a motion on this item, please.
I move approval for the huge fiberglass conversation.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. That motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Philip. It's so nice that we're just moving forward on this. It's like continual progress.
Yeah.
Okay, the next, and related, the next one is reporting bid opening for the Bayside Acres Beach Sewer Relocation Project, Phase B4. I'll let you keep forward with that.
Yes, so we are bringing before you a resolution to, we opened bids for Bayside Acres B4, and we're bringing before you a resolution to award the contract to Kratos Inc. for Phase B4 in the amount of $958,126. The name Kratos is sounding more familiar because they did construct Phase B2 for us.
That's right.
Which we finished, and they're under construction right now with Phase B3, which is four homes. So Phase 1 was completed by another contractor. Kratos has done Phase 2, and they're in construction. With Phase 3, they have the tanks are installed. I think 3 of the 4 tanks are installed, and they're They're busy working over there. Things have been going well, and we've had a good relationship working with Kratos. In February, we advertised for bids. We had a mandatory meeting in February with 11 contractors attending. The engineer's estimate was $1 million, and we've done this before, and the prices are, everyone could kind of see the prices, and the prices came in very close, and Kratos was the low bidder. And yeah, they also did the 2023 various locations project for us last year. And staff is recommending that this project be awarded to Kratos. Be funded out of the 80-year life cycle sewer replacement program for fiscal years 25, 26, and 26, 27. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Questions?
Question.
Yeah.
The most important question. This is the final phase.
Yes.
Actually, the beach, the sewer that's in the beach, it's kind of split, and one pipe goes to the west, and the other one goes to the east. And so when we finish this phase that's under construction now, B3, it drains to the east, which is to the Beach Drive pump station. And so at the completion of these 4 homes in just like another month or so, we'll be able to kind of decommission that pump station, which with the I&I and everything for the Beach Drive, and then with the completion of B4, which we're bringing before you today, there's a pump station in the Beach Park, which is, we call it the main drive pump station. What do we call it? Is that right? Beach. It's in Beach Park. It might be getting the name wrong. I'm in the moment here.
Doesn't matter what it's called. We know where we are.
So we'll be able to turn the pumps off there after the completion of that. And then the final phase does require additional BCDC permits, which we're working on now. And that is phase C, where we'll go into the beach and we'll remove the manholes that are visible, remove the laterals coming down from the hillsides to these. And then we'll go to the park and to the Beach Drive, and we'll kind of remove the tops of those pump stations and make it look like they weren't really there, and kind of restore things to be more natural. And yeah, but at the completion of this project, no more saltwater intrusion, and so it's a big success for completing B3 and B4.
And we have our salinity monitoring in process so that we can see where we were, and then we'll see how great it's going to be when all these are decommissioned. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right, Beth, that's my question, so. Thanks.
My only question, you just mentioned this, you're saying you'll rewild the areas where the pump stations are. Who owns that land where those pump stations are?
So yeah, we're coordinating with the county for the park, with county parks, because right now at the Beach Park,
It's owned by the county.
yeah, and we have this driveway, which is like a supersized sidewalk that they built for us so that we could drive our trucks down and pull the pumps and do all this. So we're talking with them and kind of coordinating the removal of the equipment. Sounds like we give power to the irrigation. And so we want to keep that going for them, but we want to remove all of the vents and the manhole hatches and the wet well hatches and all that stuff. We're coordinating with them, and then on the Beach Drive side, the neighborhood uses, it's kind of like a little cul-de-sac turnaround there, and everybody stores their, it's county right away. They store their kayaks and stuff. And so we're just going to be, there is some natural like beach there and kind of a little rock wall, and we're just going to remove the concrete, and there'll just be sand going from that turnaround out to the water. So we haven't really coordinated that with anyone.
Okay. So removing that, because it's been a while since I've been out there, are the neighbors who are storing their stuff on public property, on the county property, will they be upset if the concrete is removed because they need it to get into the water, or you think it'll still be accessible? Again, just trying to see what people's
Yeah,
reaction might be.
I think we've kind of gone back and forth on the design of that.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Where at one point I think we thought, well, maybe this concrete is serving like a little
Right,
landing
like, yes.
ramp boat
Yes,
in, but
right.
it's the latest plan right now we have it as we're just going to take it out and put sand in, so it's completely natural, and they can just kind of drag their kayaks across the sand and in. And I would probably move around a little bit, but that's where we're landed right now.
Well, let's make sure that we have that all written down and ideally drawn up in ways that they can see, so that that group of people won't be surprised when you come out their jackhammers and start taking away the concrete that they've been using for a long time. And then on the other side, over the county, let's make sure we're taking everything away and every possible safety hazard is completely neutralized.
Yeah.
So that there's nothing
Right.
that animals or people could get find ways to harm themselves.
Yeah. So are you thinking I should ask some of these neighbors on the street about the concrete removal? Because I don't know that there's another public way to get their input.
Well, you could tape something to the kayak. I mean, I don't know.
Put a sign. I mean,
put a sign.
Put
One of those temporary A-frames that just say, we're planning on removing it. I would think that BCDC would have a point of view on this. I mean, to me, historically, less concrete is more like that's the rewilding of the natural shoreline.
Yeah.
So I think it's confirming that BCDC wants it removed. I don't think they would be agnostic on it. I think they would want it removed. So it's somehow...
right. Unless it's holding back some berm or something. So...
And you could do an A-frame, but yeah, I think I agree with Director Bushy. We need to make sure that that's buttoned up.
Yeah.
What a nice problem to have, though.
It is. It is. And it's a wonderful use of the right of way that people are able to take advantage of it at, and I think the BCDC is really supportive of the public access there. So.
Okay, well, let's make sure it all stays very safe and predictable for everyone.
And make sure that BCDC, they want to weigh in on it. Okay. Not seeing any other questions. Are there any questions or comments online? Don't see any. No? Okay. Thank you for all this work. This is so exciting that we're at B4. I feel like we're playing a bingo game, but I am so happy. So with that, I would entertain a motion on this item.
I move that we adopt the resolution awarding the contract to Creatus Inc. for Bayside Acres and Beach Relocation Project Phase B4, the final construction phase.
Second, moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries 3-0. Thank you for all this work. I mean, literally a decade. This started on before I was even on board. Before definitely supervisor was on board. This has been going on. Maybe, Doris, one of your first projects when you became general manager. So this is, I know, this is, I don't know if we do ribbon cuttings for removals, but if we did, this would be it. Okay, the next item is adopting a resolution authorizing the district manager, district engineer to sign an amendment with Visions Management for move management services for the district office relocation. Thank you. Okay, everyone's recording.
So as you know, our service agreement with CMSA, we started back early 2024 when we started working on the service agreement, drafting it up. And so later on in the year, maybe around July, August, we decided to get someone to help us as far as managing our move, start getting that to happen. And we're hoping that we would be moving in 2025. And so we hired Visions Management. They're a project management company. And so they gave us, we entered a contract with them for some project management work and furniture management work. And they gave us a quote, or we signed a contract for $68,000, $68,620. And so they did as much as they can until June of 2025, and we asked them to stop because we didn't have an agreement yet with CMSA. So we stopped there. And so since we signed the agreement last month, I contacted them and told them to start up again. So they went back, looked at their files, and so they detailed out what they've done so far and what's remaining. And so at that time, in the early stages, we also asked them to start looking into the modulars, start planning that out. So the original contract didn't have that in their on their task. So they kind of dipped into the project management and the furniture management budget, about 35% of it. And now, you know, they need more money to finish that out. Plus, they also add the scope of work for the modulars itself, for, you know, the full design, the construction, and the oversight, the inspection. So they're more on-site work there. So they quoted us another $85,260 to finish the job.
I do. When you say modulars, you're talking about modular buildings, the
trailers.
The trailers.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, and they are not. This is just the management services. This does not in any way include any of the cost of said trailers.
Correct.
Okay. And that will be a separate budget.
Yes.
With bigger numbers in it, probably.
Yeah. It'll probably be around $240,000. We're guessing, but vision management, you know, is going back to the vendor, to Mobile Modular, to get another quote, to get a schedule, a timeline from them. And as soon as I get that, then we can also include it in the big scope of what we need to do in order for us to move there.
So we're about $250,000 to move the actual trailers in, and to purchase them, or are we renting them?
We're renting them. So the $250,000 is all the site improvements we need to put in, the electrical, the transformer box, the gas connection, the sewer, and then also move and install the trailers itself, and also do the construction within the trailers itself.
So everything but the actual trailer.
Right.
Okay, and what's the neighborhood of costs that we're looking at for the actual trailer?
So for the actual trailer, I was thinking of renting them, which is, I think it was like $6,000 a month to rent. Otherwise, to buy is another couple $100,000. And if we are to just be there for 5 years or so, I think it's better to just rent.
Okay. Thank you.
And how does that work, since you're here, General Manager, with, in terms of the site prep, and, because you've had trailers on your site before, right?
Yeah, they're, you know, we leased the land to Ross Valley Sanitary between 2007 and 2009. So they're on site for 3 years with modular buildings also. And part of that, you know, project was bringing in all the utilities to that very location. So all that infrastructure is there. So your guys' modulars, we put in this one area in our corporation yard, and then there's all the infrastructure. So there's this putting the transformer system in, like Dora said. There's a wastewater little pump station there, so you have to put pumps in it. We have the power coming from our maintenance building. We have all the telecommunication wiring coming from our maintenance building. So it's just connecting to all the existing utilities.
And then do you feel, as I understand it, you might have some of the folks from CMSA in this building to start out, like I wasn't sure how it does, I guess what I'm really asking is, do you feel like you need to be involved in this conversation around furniture and things like that, or are we good? Like I don't want to have more cooks in the kitchen, but I just want to make sure that we're meeting all the right needs.
I'll track on everything.
Okay.
But I think it's more of just same district staff knowing what they need in terms of equipment and office space and storage and filing and lockers, things like that.
Okay.
For 17 employees.
Well, that's fantastic that we're on the same footprint that Ross Valley did. And I know we received a letter that they had some concerns, and that actually shows that it can work because they did it themselves. So I just want to acknowledge that we did receive a letter, and if there's any questions about that, I know the board can ask the general manager, but being that this is we're not reinventing the wheel, we are just revisiting something that's been done before. Director, do you have any questions on this item? Yeah.
Quick question, Dora. So this is a fixed contract now. And they totally understand that some of the infrastructure is nearby or close by, and that should be account.
Yes, we've done several site visits with Mobile Modular and Vision Management. So they've already done some preliminary designs already.
Okay. That'd be good. Do they ever work under an hourly rate with a not to exceed?
Not this company, Vision Management. They said that, you know, I asked them from the beginning if they do like a force account, like how we normally do it with consultants, but they said more and more the project management world, they do lump sum now.
Hard to find them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One question is just ensuring that San Rafael Sam staff is somehow involved because it's where they'll be moving to, so I didn't know if you had that. And it's not necessarily something that Visions would be doing, but I do see that it's getting input from the client on the move matrix seating arrangements, so I just want to make sure that you're somehow communicating that to the employees. Yeah. So it's not like they walk in and have no idea where you're sitting. Okay.
Yes. I'm keeping them up to date and yeah, so we have monthly meetings with my whole staff, and so I would give them updates.
Fantastic. And then in terms of timelines, I'm so glad that Visions Management has been flexible, that we went on a little hiatus for a while, and that they're willing to pick this back up. Is there any other timeline in here? Because what I'm both curious about that, because that way it's something we need to communicate to the city as well, because there's two parts of this. It's getting this part ready, and then it's also leaving the city. So is that a part of it, or is it?
Well, all this intertwined. Right, everything is intertwined, but the vision management, the moving part is the longest time.
Okay.
But the city separation agreement, that's coming to an end soon.
Okay.
We're planning to meet next month and finalize the agreement.
Okay.
We have some comments, and so we'll meet again. Hopefully our next meeting will be our last one.
Okay, so it's just coordinating all those logistics.
Yeah. Okay. And the city separation agreement has to be done like before this whole effective date with CMSA goes into action, and that's kind of like 4 to 6 months out. So we have time with the city, but we'll probably be done sooner.
Okay. Yeah, just making sure that the timing, because it is interconnected, making sure that all parties are aware of how it's interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Not seeing any other questions or comments. Are there any online? Catherine shaking her head no. Well, this is a big deal, and I was reflecting when I saw this on the agenda. I was like, didn't we approve this contract a while ago? And yes, we did. So this is not a new conversation for the district. It was originally, as stated in the staff report, originally talked about in September 2024. So it's been a year and a half that this is not a new part of it. So just want to state that for the record, that it's a continuation of those conversations. So not seeing any other comments or questions, I would entertain a motion on this item.
Move we approve the amendment to the agreement with Vision Management for move management services for district office relocation.
Second. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye. That motion carries 3-0. Thank you. And the last item under agenda items is report and discussion of strategic planning efforts for the district. And I'll turn it over to you. I know Paul's in the room, the virtual room as well. So
I just gave an update on the city separation agreement.
yes, you did.
And then for the service agreement, as y'all know, we went into the approval February 24 meeting. So since then, as part of the service agreement, there is a list under the service effective date where we have to do numerous things before it becomes effective. And so Jason, myself, and Paul have met, and we put together a task list. And then we're starting to work on those items. One of the things that I've been working on is job description and salaries for the new positions. We're also working on a draft property use agreement with CMSA. The space over at CMSA. And then, of course, restarting the moving of with vision management. So those are several things that we've been focused on. And so hopefully when I get the schedule from Vision Management, I can put together the schedule for the effective transitioning period. So I could present it to the board.
So as part of the conversation with the labor groups, because you said you were working on salary descriptions and salary level, so SEIU or Western Engineers or whoever is.
Yeah, SEIU would be the union rep for CMSA.
Okay, so it's just SEIU.
Yeah. And so I think Jason and I talked about doing the unrepresented positions first. Since the representative ones, we have to talk to the union, so the unrep is probably the easiest. So we'll deal with that group first, do the description and salaries, and then present it to the CMSA board for approval first.
We'd like those to kind of line up. I'd hate to get locked in on one and then find that there's some unanticipated deviation required for the other. So
we could do it all together,
or at least
You know, what we currently had planned, we had the unrepresented staff like the engineers, you know, the managers, supervisors that aren't in the union, prepare those job descriptions, do the salary survey, update that, bring it to the CMSA board. At the same time, then we would deliver all the represented, you know, positions, job description, salary ranges to SEO 1021, and they'd review those, we'd offer meet and confer, then we bring those to the board the next month. So we're just breaking it up that way. I talked with our field representative for SEO 1021 several times over the last couple of years about this, and he thinks it sounds just wonderful. I just talked to him the other day for quite a long time about various topics, including this. And he said, yeah, just send over those few job descriptions and salary ranges. I'm sure it should be very easy, and we'll put together a letter of understanding for the MOU and bring that to your board also.
So you're basically building on existing job descriptions and just slotting our people in.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Director Rodoni?
Is there anything new on the resolution for the three boards to consider meeting and conferring about the consolidation?
Yeah, so the other thing we've been doing is also discussing consolidation. We've been meeting with the other JPA staff to come up with the draft resolution so that all three agencies, our agency, RBSD and SD2, will have the same resolution to go to each of the board for approval. Last week we met again to finalize the draft, and also Jason Freed from LAFCO was also there, and so that was good. And so we're finalizing the draft, and so we all agreed that we're going to bring back that draft resolution to each of our boards next month. And then Jason Freed is also was thinking of also attending all our board meetings just in case we have questions.
And is that something that, again, I'm not always familiar how LAFCO works, that is there needs to be a financial contract for them to do the work? Because are we talking about Jason Freed? He's kind of, they're managing it, so do we pay them to do the, like the three agencies pay them to do the work is really what I'm asking.
Yes.
Some sort of cost sharing agreement?
Yeah, some kind of cost sharing, and so we have to figure out how much, the percentage.
So the resolution that each agency will be would be approving the same resolution and then approving the cost share at the same time? Or does it not?
Yeah.
You're on LAFCO.
May reference it that you all agree to do a cost sharing.
Right.
Or discuss the cost sharing and work out the details.
Yeah.
Sometimes some districts are much more complicated than others, so somehow you have to adjust for that.
So the resolution is just for each of the JPA members to commit to forming this committee and to discuss.
And does LAFCO, the board, do they weigh in at all? Because I keep saying Jason, but I think of him as like this separate.
Eventually, we'll weigh in when there's a decision.
Okay.
But till then, Jason and the staff there will work with all the staffs of the agencies to come up with chief agreements possible and what it looks like. It may not be a full consolidation. It could be, some other consolidation, functional consolidation where we share resources.
We can share all the studies that we've done over the last 2 years. It's not like we're starting from zero. We have a lot of information. Okay.
Staff will work with that with send their district staffs and bring something back to the LAFCO commission, and then certainly everyone will have a chance to have a say at that point too. But usually it's pretty smooth at that point. As you work out all the details, hopefully, including the different unions that might be involved, and pensions that might be involved.
Oh no, we've got a taste of it. Oh yeah. See our 28-page document. We got it. We got the complexity of it. Okay. That is so interesting. Okay. Paul, do you have anything you want to add? We thank you. I know that you've been a part of this conversation with Doris.
The only thing I would add is that based on our discussions on the consolidation group, Jason Freed will facilitate the committee.
Oh, great. Okay.
So that's all his role would be. It's not necessarily that he would be a voting member. He's just a facilitator. and then the agencies are going to work out how to pay him and that kind of thing. He has sent us a draft agreement to take a look at in terms of how to set everything up, and we need to find an agency that's willing to act as the financial clearinghouse for it. But I think that'll be decided at the next meeting. So other than that, I think it's moving along very swimmingly.
Thank you. Any other comments just on the update that General Manager Toy gave on the strategic plan and the move, and anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so. I think she did a good job covering it.
Well, thank you. I think having all those tasks and ticking them off one by one is critical at this point. So I'll see if there's any comments in the room on this item. Is there anyone online that would like to comment on this item? Okay. Not seeing anyone. Thank you. This was a report and discussion, so there was no vote that's needed other than just ongoing praise for the next step. So thank you. Informational items. Do you have any informational items that you'd like to share, Doris?
Yeah, so the rate assistance program.
Yes.
So we're sending out the postcards to inform everybody of our new program. So it's going out this week. So you guys might get one.
So you want to know a coincidental occurrence? Today I spoke at Rotary Manor.
Oh.
And I was speaking to a Rotary Club, but they had it at Rotary Manor. So I was talking to the board member. There were some board members that were there as well as the director of Rotary Manor. And I said, you know, this whole program was really brought forward because of the advocacy, and they were just delighted. And I wasn't sure where the outreach part was, but they just were thrilled. I said, it took government, always takes us a little bit longer, but we got there. So they were thrilled. I mean, the board members that were at the Rotary meeting were just, they were so excited. They do get those questions all the time, so now we can point people to it. So,
right.
Congratulations. And then we will have after the postcards go out, we'll have an update. Let me see, where are we? Beginning of next year, just to see the kind of uptake, because that's because we want to make sure that we put it together. We want to make sure that folks are using it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's a great informational item. Thank you. Okay. Next item is director reports, requests for future agenda items. So you know that Director Bushy will be working remotely, but not remoting into the meeting. So probably Director Rodoni and myself in this meeting, right, for the next 2 months. And then at CMSA, we have Dean, who's on deck, and
Mark Solomon.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. But remotely, okay. Anything else? Anything else that we need to be aware of?
Oh, she just reminded me that, and then Supervisor Amy, Director Rodoni is not able to attend in April. This meeting, correct?
The April meeting.
On the 17th, yeah.
So why don't we figure out with your scheduler and with Lauren and with whatever, we can figure out. So Lauren.
We'll do a special meeting.
We'll do a special meeting, yeah. Because we need you there, unless we all fly to where Director Bushy is, but I don't think that our meeting laws don't allow that, unfortunately. So, yes, okay, so the sooner we can get that, Catherine, on our,
I will do that.
calendars, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And so then so we are in April. So when will we have our preliminary budget? One thing I was thinking when Director Bushy was asking the question around the relocation, just to have that line section about all the things having to do with the operating agreement.
Probably in May.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm thinking May too, not April. I'm thinking May.
I'm not going to be back yet. But
No,
it's okay.
but
You can see the draft.
Right,
Yeah.
I see where we're going here. It looks good.
Yeah. But just making sure that part, okay, so we're just on target for that. I want to make sure that we,
We'll do a preliminary in May and then
Okay.
June for final approval.
okay.
And you'll be back by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay, fantastic. Well, with that, we are going to go into closed session. So appreciate all of you. Hopefully the sound got a little better. Maybe it wasn't ticking or whatever. No, it didn't. Okay, sorry about that. That sounded like it was painful. But appreciate you listening all the same. And thank you all. So the date of future meeting will be sent out once we confirm it, but it's not the 17th. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you all online. Okay. I'm not adjourning until after a closed session. I know that our attorney will stay on the line.